Hello everyone, it's Scott, and we're back for day, I guess, 3 of Final Fantasy spoiler season. We only have a few cards to talk about today, so we'll dive into those in just a minute. But before we do, remember to like and subscribe to get further content like this throughout Final Fantasy preview season and beyond. And remember, if you're looking for cards from the set, you can check us out on the web at caffeinatedgamers.tcgplayerpro.com. So let's look at today's previews. So first we've got Ishgard, the Holy Sea. It's a town, it's a land, it'll tap for white mana, and this is going to be one of our adventure lands. It's got Faith and Grief for 3 and 2 white mana. You get a sorcery, that's an adventure, and you get to return up to 2 target artifact and or enchantment cards from your graveyard to your hand. So I think this is a really powerful ability on Ishgard, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Esper Bounce deck wants this. There's an Azorius artifact deck out there that's currently seeing play against with the synthesizer in it, and I think those cards work really well with Ishgard, because if somebody is able to destroy them, then you can get them back from the graveyard that way. Or even if your opponent is milling your stuff, you've got a way of pulling things out of your graveyard that are enchantments and or artifacts. 5 mana is a lot to do that, but again, if you're only got a copy or 2 of this, and you're really looking at it as, hey, this is a land if I need it, otherwise I'm going to use it as an adventure, and then I can play the land later when I've got a need to play it. So I like this one, and I think it's got definite standard playability. Next we've got Matoya, Archon Elder for 2 and a blue mana. You get a legendary creature. That's a human warlock. He's a 1/4. And whenever you scry or surveil, you get to draw a card. So really powerful ability here, Matoya. So I think this is a card that you would specifically put in a deck where you're using Opt and other spells like that every time you cast that, you're going to scry, you're going to surveil, and then you're going to get to draw those cards. And because of that, I think this potentially has, in the right build, a very important place in Standard, because getting that additional card draw every time you scry, every time you surveil, can be very critical in your ability to win a game. So while I don't know if this is going to be a tier 1 card in Standard, I think it has the potential to be very, very good. Next, we've got Esper Origins for 1 and a green mana. You get a sorcery where you get to surveil 2. Obviously, that would work with Matoya. And then you gain 2 life, and if this spell was cast from a graveyard, exile it, then put it onto the battlefield transformed under its owner's control with a finality counter on it, and its flashback cost is 3 and a green mana. When you flash it back from your graveyard, then it becomes Summon Esper Madurin. He's a enchantment creature with a Saga Elemental and is a 4/4, and you can, on Chapter 1, you get to reveal the top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, put it in your hand. On Chapter 2, you get to add 2 green mana. And then on Chapter 3, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain trample until the end of the turn. And I think that's really probably the mode that you will want the most, giving everything trample, giving everything +2/+2. So I think maybe in the right kind of deck, again, one probably where you're using the abilities of gaining life and the surveilling to really help you dig for what you want and need in a particular game, then I think this might have some standard playability. But I really do like the Chapter 3 ability here, where you're getting the +2/+2 and gaining trample until the end of turn, because that typically, when you have an ability activate like that, and you've got a decent sized board, you tend to win the game on that turn. So not saying this is it's going to be really successful in Standard card, but it could be a very sneaky successful card in Standard. Alright, and that brings us to our last card of the day. Only got 4. Valkyrie Aerial Unit for 5 and 2 blue mana. You get an artifact creature. That's a construct. It's a 5/4 with affinity for artifact, and this spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. It also has flying, and when this creature enters, you get to Surveil 2, another card that would activate Motoya's ability. But we already have kind of an affinity deck going that's in white and blue right now, and I think this is another card you could easily slot into that, because you're going to put a number of relatively low cost white artifacts into play, and then your 3 spot is kind of the synthesizer and the things that help that kind of stabilize you in the game. So I think Valkyrie aerial unit could be a couple copies in that deck, because you're going to have a lot of artifacts in play, and then you're maybe casting this for 2 mana in the mid to late game, or possibly as early as turn like 3 or 4 if you've played the right cards. So I think this definitely has some standard playability. All right, so those are day 3's Final Fantasy cards for Monday. I think based on the release schedule for previews, we're not going to get large numbers of previews every day, which I think is good. It gives you an opportunity to digest what's out there. So I will be back tomorrow with another video for Tuesday's previews from Final Fantasy. Thanks for staying to the end of the video, and I will see you in the next one.